Test cameras on. Coronavirus. All right. It's that time of the week. I love everybody. Y'all know what time of the week it is. Another Wednesday has passed by, and we have been blessed to be here. The sun is shining. It is hot, and you are officially rolling with Ramsey. Gotta love it. So, this week, I wanted to take time out, and I want to appreciate everybody who's going to be joining in today. We have really got to... real quick, I like to give people a shout out. Hey, I see my battle buddy, Miss Fortune, I see you. You're officially rolling with Ramsey. Fred, I see you. You're officially rolling with Ramsey. Thank you so much. We got to talk about it. And I thought I was going to be able to avoid it, but I can't because it's what we're dealing with every day. And that's that coronavirus. It is something else. It is definitely... going on, and we just got to get into the ins and outs of it a little bit. Y'all know me. I like to let you know how I feel, what's going on. And this is one of those things that it's very unique because we are coming up on a time. This is a sketchy time. And what I mean by that is because let's talk about, the children in school. And what's usually happening this time of year. We are halfway through the month of July, and we all know what happens at the end of July. Guess what? Kids start, you get prepared, going back to school, going to buy school clothes, this, that, and the other. I know how I was already like jazzed up, like, hey, what we're gonna do. But we already know that the kids did not end their year. Last year was a very unique school year, and it looks like we already know that this upcoming school year is gonna be very different. Hey, listen, my cousins on, Erica, Nicole, Ramsey, Bowen, Arthur, Illustrator, I see you. You're officially rolling with Ramsey. Thank you for tuning in. It is unbelievable that we are in a situation where we are actually considering putting our children at risk. And it's not just our children. Let me just say this right now. My mother, may she rest in peace, was an educator. My mother was an educator. And when I say she was an educator, this woman, youngest to ever attend Bennett College at the age of 14 and a half, 2 undergraduate degrees, 7 master's degrees, PhDs, you name it. She was a middle school principal. She was dropout prevention coordinator. She was an icon in the Guilford County school systems here in North Carolina. An icon. And there is no way that Gloria B. Ramsey, Dr. Gloria B. Ramsey, would even consider having these kids come back to school unless it was absolutely, there was nothing else that we could do. Now, we already know that there are other things that we can do. And we'll get into that in a little bit when we talk about distance learnings and things about that, because they finished the year that way. And I'm just talking about the big picture. And when I say the big picture, I'm talking about across the United States. But we're going to hit on that. I'm going to hit on education. We're going to hit on this, but we got to talk about where we're at right now with the coronavirus, period. What's the current update? So I'm going to give you guys the current update. My research is not my own. Sorry, got this off of CNN. They got their stuff from Johns Hopkins. So deal with me. Currently, globally, there are 13,397,167 cases of the coronavirus globally. That's the entire world. In the United States alone, right here in the United States, we've got 3,459,053 cases. Deaths across the world, total 580,388. Right here in the United States, we have 136,000 900 people have lost their lives due to coronavirus, aka COVID-19. 136,000 people have lost their lives to this virus. And it's baffling to me that we're not on a unified front when it comes to the virus. And what I mean by that is we have a fundamental lack of leadership when it comes to dealing with this pandemic. This pandemic is costing people's lives because people are dying because a lack of leadership, people's failure to lead. Some people can lead, others can follow. Some people need a little nudge, however you want to call it. Some people just want facts. Now, I'm going to say this. I remember when I was growing up, before we had, let's go back way before the internet. Let's go back way before cable, and let's just call it what it was. We had 3 major channels, okay? That was ABC, CBS, and NBC. So for me here where I'm at, that was channel 2, channel 8, and I can't put up 12, 10 and 2, channel 12. Then we had a supplemental channel. You had 48 and 45. Now, I like 48 and 45 because on 40, I think it was channel 45, Saturday morning, NWA Wrestling would come on, and we get to see Ric Flair talk about, whoo, you know, who loves you. You know what I'm saying? We got to see that, NWA, Diamonds Are Forever, and Soda 4 Horsemen. So you had the supplemental channels. Now, I say that to say this. I remember growing up that we had, let me get it right. I barely remember Walter Cronkite, but I remember seeing him at times, Walter Cronkite coming on. And when Walter Cronkite came on TV, and I'm pretty sure he was CBS, people listened. People respected what this man had to say on the CBS Evening News. Walter Cronkite would come on, he would talk, everybody was glued to the TV, he was well respected, and what he had to say, people listened to, everybody tuned in. They were locked into his every word, and they knew that he was bringing truth and facts. Truth and facts. No matter what it was truth and facts. Okay? Truth and facts. Walter Cronkite got old, he retired. He was later replaced with a guy I'm more familiar with, Dan Rather. Another man. Truth and facts. I'm not really concerned about the network that they were working for. I'm just making that point to let everybody know it was a simpler time. Truth and facts, and then that was backed up by local newspapers and the major newspapers across the United States. New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, Chicago Tribune, I believe. But if you picked up one of those papers and you saw and you listened to what Walter Cronkite or Dan Rather said, it all seemed like it all lined up. Boom, 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 truth and facts all lining up. Not much opinion. Not saying it wasn't possible, but truth and facts, they would line up. Truth and facts. Guys, we have a person that is leading us in the White House, the President of the United States, who is failing us when it comes to the leadership and guidance that is needed for us to defeat the coronavirus. I'm not going to talk politics and all the other policies. I'm only talking about his handling of the coronavirus. That's what this show is about today. Coronavirus, aka COVID-19. No more, no less. Not gonna talk Black Lives Matter today, none of that. This is all about the coronavirus. We are being failed when it comes to the leadership and guidance that is needed for us to defeat the coronavirus. And I'm pretty upset today because I'm listening to what is being said about the top doctor, Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci talks science. Hey, Debbie, I see you. I love the fact that you're tuning in. Miss Trueblood, you are rolling with Ramsey. Dr. Fauci is the expert. When I say he is the top expert when it comes to stuff like this, the man has been in the position for, gosh, going all the way back, I believe, to the AIDS pandemic when HIV first hit. That's how long he's been in this position. So he served Republican and Democratic presidents because he speaks science. He talks facts. He gives you clear-cut information on what needs to be done. And Debbie, I see you're down there in Central Florida. Please stay safe. I want to make sure that we speak truth to power. Here's why my heart hurts. Like I told you earlier, I'm going to pull it up again just so I can get the number correct. In the United States, 136,900 people have lost their lives. 136,000. Florida, reporting more cases than they'd ever reported before. Texas, getting ready, their ICU units in their hospitals, they're getting ready to bust at the seams. They're almost out. All I'm saying is, I just want us to think about where we would be if we had the proper leadership. The proper leadership. And what's really frustrating is that something so simple could have us in a much different position. Much different position. We cannot continue to have people feel like it's okay to be out in public and not have a mask on. You're out in public, put on your mask. That's it. Wear a mask. You get back in your car. Look, you're in your car, you can have your mask off. You go to the store, you got to go in the store. As soon as you get ready to get out your car, you put your mask on, you go in the store, you do your business. You come out the store, you get back in your car, you take your mask off. I took my dad to his doctor's appointment today. We rode all the way there. Before we got out the car, I put on my dad's mask, I put on my mask, we went into the appointment, we had the appointment, we came back out, I got dad in the car, I got in the car, I took off his mask, I took off my mask. I'm a little bit excited about the fact that, yes, there are some vaccines that are making progress, but that's not close. It's no time soon. It is no time soon. My boy, retired Captain Patterson, like myself, I see you, you're rolling with Ramsey. And you're absolutely right. People are trying to discredit Dr. Fauci, which is ridiculous. And so I'm saying this. So I'm begging people, please put on your mask. Keep them in your car. Keep them in your car. Put on your mask when you're out in public so that we can slow this thing down. So that we can slow this thing down. Slow it down. Bring it to a screeching halt, because the European Union is looking at us like, what are they doing? We're the top scientific country in the world, and we're not following our own advice. All this stuff about conspiracy theories and this, that, and the other, that stuff is a joke. That stuff is a joke. The governor of Oklahoma, where the president of the United States had a rally and it was an option to wear a mask, and most people who were there at the rally did not have on a mask, has now tested positive for the coronavirus. Now, he was at the rally without a mask, and he got the nerve to put out a statement. He's tested positive, but he did not contract it when he was at the president's rally. They don't know where he got it from. But guess what? If we look at the percentages and look and weigh how this thing works, when it comes to being in an environment around a whole bunch of people who are not masked up. That's a hotbed situation. I'm sorry. If I had to put one of my retired checks on it, I would say that he called it at the rally. Chuck Ramsey said that. No confirmation on it. I'm just using common sense. The man was there. He didn't have on a mask. It's been a couple of weeks. And how long did they say it takes? I'm just saying, somebody let me know in the comments. How long? Pretty sure it's a couple of weeks, and now he's tested positive. But he wants to say that he didn't get it at the rally. Chuck Woolery, the latest conspiracy guy. Just today, his son tested positive for the coronavirus. It's funny to me how everybody that wants to come out so hard against this thing, it ends up coming back and biting them. Now, it's not everybody. I want all of these people who have tested positive, I want them to get healthy. I want them to stay well. I don't want anybody to pass away. The mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, she tested positive. And so we want to wish all of these people well. We want to wish them good health. But what we've got to understand is that this thing is serious. It's not a joke. This is real. The coronavirus is real. Now, the funny thing is let's take it back a few years, some years, and I can't remember which year it was. I know that we had Zika virus at one point in time, and I know that was a whole thing was about mosquitoes, and they were riding through and they were spraying, I think, down in Florida, if I'm not mistaken, Debbie, because people, it was pretty particular. They were worried about women who may be pregnant. The Zika virus having something to do with that, and there's a concern there with that. But before then, I can remember joking when SARS hit the scene. And SARS didn't, I'm sure I don't have any numbers or anything, but it wasn't like this. And I can remember back in that time period of joking around and saying somebody was going somewhere. I was like, hey, you better put on your SARS mask. I was joking. You better put on your SARS mask. It's amazing. Here we are. Here we are. It's not a SARS mask. It's the corona mask, and we need to mask up. We need to mask up so that we can take this thing and take it to the next level. We can take this thing and knock it out. Nothing holding us. Lucy, Miss Harmon, I see you. Thank you. You're rolling with Ramsey. Nothing is keeping us from knocking this thing out and getting this thing under control but us. We are the only people that are not dealing with this the way that we should. The United States of America. You want to know why? Because we have so many freedoms, we have so many things that we're used to, that we let our common sense be hijacked time and time again. And here we go. Sure enough, it's gotten hijacked again. And it's funny because I had to do some maintenance yesterday. Tuesday, I got the big cat up, boom, boom, boom. I had to go and I had to empty my tanks, particularly my black tank, but I had to empty my tanks. And so I went to the dumping station, went to Camper World, boom, 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 and I said, oh man, on the way home, I have got to stop and get here at home, we've got a pothole in our street. We own the street. So we got a pothole. And I said, man, I want to get a cone, a hazard cone to put in this pothole because I don't want anybody to mess up their car or anything like that. So I went into Northern Tools. So I did some other stuff first. I was across the street in the Sheetz parking lot, boom, boom, boom. And in a haste, I'm guilty. In a haste, I was doing too many things at one time. I ran across the street and I went in the store and I said, oh, and I got about 5 feet into the store. And I was like, oh man, I'm sorry. I left my mask. I'm going to run back and get it. Now the lady was like, oh, don't worry about it. And I said, no, I'm going to run back and get my mask because I want to show and practice good coronavirus habits. I should have a mask on. So I ran back across the street. I got my mask. I came back in the store. So went and got the cone. It was right up near the front. And as I'm waiting in line, I'm standing behind a guy. And he goes, "Oh, I saw you ran out earlier to get your mask." He said, "Hey, I don't believe in that crap, no way. I wouldn't have ran back." And I was like, wow. And all I could say was, well, I just want to be safe for you and for me. I said we should all be that way. I said, and furthermore, the governor did say that we're supposed to have a mask on. Everybody. The governor of North Carolina made it mandatory. If you're out in public, you're supposed to have on a mask. He didn't comment when I said that. But my point is that I don't believe in it, is what he said. And then as he was leaving, he had the audacity to say, look back at me and says, well, my president doesn't do it, so why should I? And that's why I'm here talking today. Because of lack of leadership. I had someone actually look at me and say, on his way out the store, my president doesn't do it, so why should I? Think about that. I've said from the beginning that words and actions matter. Hey, Miss Harvey, I see you're rolling with Ramsey, that words and actions matter. And I came face to face with someone who said to me that my president doesn't wear a mask, then why should I? Slapped me right in the face. Lack of leadership right there. I said it at the top of the show. Some people lead, some people follow, some people need guidance, a little nudge in what we should do. I may not like his policies, but when it comes to the leadership of this pandemic, he has failed the United States of America. Something as simple as if he said, yes, Dr. Fauci is saying that we can beat this thing, guys, if everybody just mask up. All I need y'all to do is just mask up for me. We can beat this thing. Everybody should wear a mask. What does he do? He makes jokes about it. He says that the virus is just going to disappear. He says that it's a Democratic hoax. He says that he knew his calling. He went down to the CDC and act like he knew more than what those people are talking about. The same man that's talking about telling everybody that, well, can't you take some bleach and kind of put it on the inside? Really? Or when it gets hot, it's going to go away. No, it hasn't gone away. No, you should not drink ingest bleach. This is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. We have got to win this battle against the coronavirus. We've got to continue to encourage people to do what? We've got to continue to encourage people to do what? We've got to encourage them to put on a mask and listen to the science. Put on a mask and listen to the science of it all. Put on a mask and listen to the science of it all. Because if we don't, not only are we going to lose more lives, unfortunately, we're going to find ourselves in a situation where it's going to reach out and touch everybody, whether we're masked up or not. And what I mean by reach out and touch everyone, before long, if we don't get a hold of this thing, everybody will be able to say, I know someone who's died from the virus, personally. I don't wish that on anybody. We have 136,000 people, 136,900 people who can tell us that are up in heaven in a much better place, but I'm pretty sure that they didn't want to leave like this. There's a saying that says sometimes you should seek understanding rather than being understood. I'm asking, I'm begging everyone, seek understanding on this virus. Do what you got to do. But more importantly, just put on a freaking mask. Put on a mask, because if you got on a mask, and I had somebody on, like in my second show, you could see it when I had Mr. Vernon Williams on and we talked about it. Hey, he has an EMS company. Vernon, shout out to you. And he's down there in Florida, an EMS company, and he's saying, hey, when you wear a mask, I'm protecting you from me, and when you're wearing a mask, you're protecting me from you. And so when I see all these videos about people feeling like their rights are being infringed upon because they can't, their rights are being infringed upon because we're asking them to wear a mask, and people going in stores, and there are all these videos with people going in stores or establishments, and I mean showing plumb out. When I mean showing plumb out, I'm talking about things like, hey, if I showed out like that in the store, when I got home, what my mama would say, hey, I brought you in this world and I'm gonna take you out. You know, and she was just real quick with it. She'd tell you, I'm gonna whip you when you get home. And that was it. She didn't have no fanfare, but you can best believe she didn't forget when we got home what was going on. These people are ridiculous. Screaming and hollering. Oh my gosh. Now I'm gonna pause on that because here's the deal. If you live on the coast or down by a beach, and everybody that's been to the beach knows what I'm talking about, beach type stores, ones that are right there on the ocean, have a sign up. You know what the sign says? Shoes and shirt required. You know what people do? They throw on a shirt, throw on their flip-flops, they go in the store, do what they want to do. When they walk back out the store, they take the flip-flops off, take the shirt off, go back across the street to the beach. So I'm really confused about an establishment, take a grocery store, that says, hey, to get service here, you have to have on a freaking mask. And you're going to use this as a time to try to exercise some crazy rights talking about it's against the law and they can't make you do that. They're a private establishment. Yes, they can. They have the right to refuse you service. Put on a mask, ma'am, sir. You can come in and go shopping. But if you don't have on one, you can't come in here. Ridiculous. Tara, Rhodey, I see you. You're rolling with Ramsey. Tara said, as you mentioned earlier, I would love for the media to present truth and facts. Listen to the facts, totally agree, but wish it was easier to figure out what they are. We mask up. Tara, you're absolutely right. Janera says, I agree with you. Agree. And now CDC data is being reported directly to the White House. This puts limits on the facts in public. Talk about it is scary. You're absolutely right. They're asking they're asking people to circumvent the CDC and not turn their numbers into the CDC. A doctor was on earlier. He said all information when it comes to the coronavirus, as far as death, hospitalizations, deaths, hospitalizations, people who are extremely sick, all the different categories. He said it should all be public record. It should be transparent. Everybody should know so that they can disseminate the facts and look at it. I'm telling you, I'm not a media outlet, Tara. I'm just a retired Army guy that's telling you to put on a mask. I know Tara said we mask up. I don't want to leave that out. She does. Mask up. That's it. It's just that simple. We need to all put on a mask. And the crazy thing is that culturally in Asia, they mask up all the time. Like, it's just a part of their everyday life. They're just used to it. This is just something that we're not used to. And the crazy thing is, it doesn't have to be permanent. It does not have to be a permanent situation. We can defeat this virus. But the only way that we're going to be able to help others is that if we just mask up. But it is scary when I look at how putting on a simple face covering, a mask, has been politicized. They've made it a political statement to have on a mask. They made it a political statement to put on a mask. Why on earth would you do such a thing? Why? Doesn't make any sense. It's scary. It's just not fair. And the reason why I say it's not fair is because of the essential workers that we have working. Now let's speak truth to power. Essential workers are people who are in our grocery stores, are people who are in the hospitals, working the front lines, but those are not, we know about doctors and nurses, and God bless each and every one of them. God bless each and every one of them. I have a friend of mine, I'm gonna get with him. I'm gonna make sure that I get his link. He made a patch, a COVID patch for nurses and doctors and people who are on the front line. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure that I reach out to him and try to get him on to highlight his patch, but I'm gonna get the link so that if you know a doctor or a nurse, you can come right here to Rolling with Ramsey, find that patch. You can order one. I think they're like a couple of bucks, and you can give it to, if you got an essential worker, doctor, nurse, or something like that in your family. But let's really talk about it. Let's really talk about it for a second. A lot of the essential workers and people that we have now do come from communities of color, black and brown communities, low income communities, people who do sometimes thankless jobs, custodial work, cleaners, people who have to clean, people who are in the grocery stores working, your bus drivers, your transportation folks, people who have no choice but to work. The disparity is real. And so when people are in those situations, then their exposure or their risk, their risk for exposure is higher. Their risk for exposure is higher. And if their risk for exposure is higher, then they have a higher percentage of catching this virus. Now, the reason why that is scary is because in the same communities, you have a higher rate of pre-existing conditions, whether it be hypertension, diabetes, sickle cell anemia, things like that. And we already know that if you got a pre-existing condition and then you get this coronavirus right on top of that, that's like a double whammy. That's like a double whammy. And so now you're being hit with the double whammy. So I'm just like, wow. So now they're just doubled up on it, at risk again. Now, see, I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm watching this and I'm watching the comments and I see some other comments because my de facto, my cousin, she started a watch party. So I don't see the comments in the watch party, just so y'all know. So if y'all got something y'all want me to comment on, Erica, you got to come back over here where I'm at, or have somebody come over here and let me know what y'all talking about over there. But it seems like y'all got a good sidebar conversation going on. It is, it is crazy. It is crazy. So, the pre-existing conditions, like I said, diabetes, hypertension, sickle cell anemia, not the best nutrition, just things that when you get the virus on top of that, bam, it jumps on that. It's a double whammy. Now the uphill battle that they're fighting is much worse. And that's frightening. And that's frightening to me because I'm at the bottom of the hour and I'm going to transition into what I was talking about at the top of the hour. Because I heard the President of the United States say that some people don't want to open up schools because it would be better for them politically. Really? Really? Better for them politically to not open up a school. I'm going to give y'all a big hint right here. If your school board is having a virtual school board meeting, meaning they're having a Zoom meeting on whether or not they should open up schools, then you probably shouldn't open the schools. You probably shouldn't open the schools. Really. I don't have to have a PhD to figure that out. The coronavirus, aka COVID-19, is such a serious threat that they took low-level offenders and were letting them out of prison. Not to mention the president's cronies who got out first. But low-level offenders, letting them out of prison so that they could slow down the spread of the coronavirus in prisons. So they could slow down the spread in prisons. Now, if you're letting them out of prisons so that you can slow down the spread of the virus, why on earth would we be talking about sending our kids back to school? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't have a PhD. I do got an MBA. But come on. Really? Pamela Youngblood, I see you. Thank you. You're rolling with Ramsey. That's a good friend of mine, battle buddy. Fred, what did Fred say? Fred said thing is a cough. It's the same thing as a cough. No treatment. Could go from a cold, flu to pneumonia. Waiting for the results from the COVID-19 test. Wow. And so that's crazy. So I'm gonna go back up, and I know Fred was telling me that he wears his mask religiously, but he also told me earlier. Okay, so he had his test. My friend Fred Mitchell told me, he said he had his test conducted by Fort Benning yesterday. It'll take 10 days for the results. Okay, Fred, we're praying for you, brother. We're praying for you. Putting you on a prayer list right now. I'm telling you. Putting you on a prayer list. This thing is real. This thing is real. And so there's no way that we should have kids going back into school if there's not a solid plan to protect not only our children, but our teachers, our educators. We got to be able to protect them. And I saw the interview with the Secretary of Education, who absolutely does not have a clue to what she is doing. There is no teacher union, educator on the planet that wants to have somebody leading them that will say, well, Is it safe for them to go in? They asked her. They said, well, do you have a plan? Well, we just want them to follow the guidelines. No, you're the Secretary of Education. You're supposed to be you're supposed to be their national defense team. You're supposed to be the person that protects all the educators. You're supposed to be the person that's supposed to be looking at this thing from a comprehensive perspective. She don't have a plan. She's clearly just trying to stay in line with the president. And I understand that it is crazy. We cannot continue to put people at risk because we feel like it's going to jumpstart the economy. No, that doesn't work. I'm sure as hell not going to put any children at risk for it. I'm not going to advocate for that. No way. None whatsoever. Betsy DeVos, I'm going to say it right here on Rolling with Ramsey right now. My name is Charles A. Ramsey II from High Point, North Carolina. Shame on you. Shame on you. If you don't know what the hell you're doing in the job, you need to get out the job and get out the job and let somebody in there who knows what they're doing. But I'm sorry, that job is an appointee by the President of the United States. So therefore, we understand why you're in the job. It's what it is. But shame on you, lady. Shame on you. Erica said, same thing when the AIDS epidemic began. Wear a condom, no glove, no love. Okay, same thing. Stop the spread. Let's cover up just a different part of the different body part. You're absolutely right. My good friend Pettis, what's up, P? You're rolling with Ramsey. He says, retired Navy guy. He says, sending our kids back is a reflection, is a reflection poly for 46 to 1. 46 to 1. And his cronies are trying to stay in office on the backs of these kids. He's 45, I believe it is. I mean, it's crazy. Erica said, I have friends who are already immunocompromised who wear masks. Can't we just be kind, wear a mask, help them, just to be kind to our fellow countrymen and women? I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I can't say it again. It's not rocket science. I'm not, and in the beginning, if you guys remember, in the beginning, when we first started masking up, everybody was looking for the N95 mask. It was really hard to find. And, they're still hard to find. You might get lucky and find some, because you can find them in the paint section, like of Lowe's and Home Depot. And you might get lucky and find some. Now, I had some. Somebody gave me some at one point in time. But as this thing moved on, they just said, hey, a simple disposable face mask will work. This will work. This works. And everybody's, and I love the fact that everybody's getting creative with these face coverings. They got them with logos on them, all kinds of stuff. You name it. People are embracing it. There is a segment of this country that are embracing it. Football team on it, your company logo on it, whatever you want to say on it. I look pretty, whatever. I mask up to save lives, whatever. Oh man, Debbie, this is awesome. So Debbie said, I made and gave away 300 masks here in our resort and sent 100 to the VA hospital in Orlando. God bless you, Debbie. God bless you, Miss True Blood. That's right. That's hero stuff right there. That's what it's gonna take. That's what it's gonna take. So what I've decided to do, and I got this box. I bought this box. I think it was 25. I think it was like $22 or whatever. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna make sure that I keep an extra box of these in my car. And the reason why is because I'm not going to be afraid to say, if I see somebody in the store and they don't have a mask on, and say, hey, I've got an extra one. I can go get you one if you need one. I can give you one. Just to say, hey, please, put on a mask. Yes, this is an election year. No qualms about it. Everybody knows that I'm saying, hey, I support Joe Biden. You need to vote for Joe Biden on November 3rd. The only reason I'm not going to get into the plethora of reasons why I say that. But I just want you guys to think about where we would be if we had better leadership. If we had a president right now who would stand in front of a camera and say, hey, Dr. Fauci here is telling us to slow this virus down, we all need to wear a mask. And there was a unified front when it came to this situation. From jump, where would we be? If there was clear guidance coming from our federal leadership, where would we be? Would 130, I've got my TV on, you guys can't see it. I'm gonna change the number because they put up a different number. I had it up on purpose. 137,106 people have lost their lives in the United States of America. Would 137,000 be dead right now if we had better leadership? What say you? Debbie, you're down there in Florida. Miami-Dade County has run out of ICU beds, 26 patients in converted ICUs right now. Miami-Dade County, over the past 13 days, hospitalizations up 56%. I missed all the other stuff they were saying. Wow. Wow. And the reason why I'm saying is wow is because Erica just brought something to my attention. We lost 3,000 civilians, 3,000 people on 9/11. 3,000 on 9/11. 3,000 on 9/11. And we've lost 137,106 people to this virus. Because we have people who are afraid to do the right thing. We have a president who has failed the United States of America. His lack of leadership has been ridiculous. He said, and Erica made a good point, on 9/11, people were flying American flags, giving blood, signing up. We were. Everybody was like, what can I do to help? Boom, 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 boom. Where can we send money? What can we do? Oh my gosh, everybody was so patriotic. And Erica, I'm going to say this. I think people were patriotic because the enemy, it was clear who the enemy was. You see, it was clear. Somebody had came to the United States and they had attacked us. So everybody was all juiced up and gassed up. Wanting to do what we got to do. But see, this is a silent enemy. This is a silent enemy. Yeah, that was with President Bush #2. And this was a silent, so the coronavirus is a silent enemy. It's a health pandemic. We're in a war with a virus. And the fact that we don't have a leadership that can grasp that, people are like, hey, people are like, okay, is it real? I don't believe it. They falling for the conspiracy theories, the okie doke. But if there was ever a time where this country was supposed to be united and we're supposed to all be on the same page, the time is now. Erica said it was right. When 9/11 happened, leadership was Republican. Nobody cared if it was Republican or Democrat. We were the United States then, the United. She emphasized United States of America. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you guys. And what I mean by that is this. We had governors. The governor of New York was giving out better guidance than the president of the United States. And make no qualms about it, they don't get along. But I can give Governor Cuomo respect because of the fact that if the president did something for him to help the state of New York, he gave him credit. I appreciate it. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Mr. President. He sent this. They sent this. They sent this. I appreciate it. But what they did in New York and what he did every day, he just gave you straight facts. We're going to do this. And I'm going to tell you every day where we're at and why we're there and how we're going to get to where we're trying to go. But it's going to take everybody being on the same page in the state of New York. Hey, clear guidance coming from their governor. Doing the right thing. What are we getting from the federal level? We get no clear guidance. Wanting to send our kids back to school. And this is ridiculous. What they should be doing is this right here, especially when it comes to the children. They should be looking at these school systems where you've got kids and making sure that all these kids have access to their education, meaning make sure they got a computer, make sure they've got a laptop, make sure they got free internet access. That should already be going on. That's how we should be coming together. These kids aren't going to be able to go to school. We got to be able to say, hey, let's make sure that they can have access. Let's make sure that we're doing the things on a national or on public TV, showing them how to set up their systems so that they could be ready. And Debbie, I see you. You say, I hope parents have the option to continue homeschooling or microschooling. And you're absolutely right. That's a good option. But Debbie, just to be a straight shooter, we got to figure out a way to keep these kids safe in the low-income communities where their parents aren't familiar with how to log on the Blackboard or make sure that they're doing their assignment or things like that. That's a whole nother problem that we got to figure out. And time is running out because the school year is supposed to start. How are you going to how do you check their work if they don't know how to do it themselves or just to get the operating system? This is a different time. We're in a state of emergency. We really are in a state of emergency. Janera said she says, I voted yesterday where I live for my child to stay home for the new school year. Good for you, Janera. There are going to be some kids, and Erica is right. Erica's saying, unfortunately, there's a disparity, reference to access, Wi-Fi, special needs kids who are going to be completely left out. Betsy DeVos, where are you? Betsy DeVos, where you at? Where they at, though? Where they at, though? Come on. Oh, I'm going to go old school for some of my old school listeners or people who are watching. Car 54. Wait a minute. Betsy DeVos, where are you? I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's not funny. It's not funny. I think it is just, I laugh because it is a defense mechanism to a degree, because I feel like I could be the Secretary of Education and come up with a plan right now for the United States of America. That's every state that would work. Hear me now. That would work. We have companies right here that are led by gazillionaires. You mean to tell me if you got a relationship with him, Bill Gates, man, we need some computers. Nothing fancy. These kids just got to be able to log on and be able to do their work. Can you make it happen? Can you make it happen? Bill, can you make it happen? Come on now. Where you at? That's where I would be. That's what we would be doing. That's what would be happening. Come on. To give these kids access. My boy Pettis, he's down in Tampa, Florida. Governors are only listening. Now I get it. I just looked at what you wrote. I was messing it up earlier. 46 minus 1. Okay. All right. You won't even say the number. I get it now. 46 minus 1. He said governors only listen to 46 minus 1. Florida doctor said DeSantis is not listening to science. Access to the internet and computers are a major issue for brown kids. That is correct. That is correct. I mean, that's correct. And so, you know, the bigger issue to that is that you're going to be trying to introduce a segment of children to something they've never done before, in a time frame where they truly can't be embraced by it so that they know fully how to do it, how to make sure it's correct. And that's why I said I would have, excuse me, I said that all wrong. I would have some type of instruction on your local public TV, PBS. You know, being able to log on to your local access channels. Hey, today we're going to go step by step on how to log on the Blackboard, blah, 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 ABC 1, 2, 3. And it should be like something that goes on like 24 hours a day. Boom. All right, let me see. All right, boom, boom. You know, I don't know. Miss Vanessa said, wouldn't it be great if our country could take just a small percentage from, I didn't see the rest of the statement. Okay, she said, from our military budget and send private contractors and put in our education budget. Yeah, I mean, it would be. I'm sure, listen, you're absolutely right, Vanessa. I'm sure that if you go and look at every budget, there's places that we can trim things from, you know, without a doubt. I served 23 years. I'm not going to tell you that the defense budget is airtight. So I'm not, yeah, that would be great, because there's some things I'm pretty sure that we could slow down in that aspect and move from one place to the next. I just want everybody to know that, I want everyone to know that the coronavirus, aka COVID-19, is real. I'm asking everybody who's watching today to know that if your school system for your child or the kids in your area is not putting forth a sound plan for them to return to school, please speak up and say something. Because we already know that if the kids in the 20s who are going to these parties and stuff and all up on top of people and bringing the coronavirus back home and getting caught up, making the numbers go up because they're having these crazy things called corona parties, it's virtually impossible to social distance in a high school hallway. Elementary school kids, are you going to be able to keep them separated? Middle school kids? Particularly when school is also their place where they socialize. They're supposed to. That's where they see their friends. So if they don't have a sound plan to send the kids back to school in your area, please speak up. Last but not least, make sure you mask up. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to close the show out with this. Have the mask in your car. Go to where you're going. Before you get out your car, put your mask on. Do your shopping. You get back in your car, take your mask off, go back home. Depending on where you live, may have to put it on to get from point A from your car back inside the house or whatever. Keep your mask on. And yes, Vanessa, I see you. Yes, wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Now, I'm going to say this really quick. A lot of people go out and they wear gloves. I'm going to tell you what a doctor told me about gloves. Unless you take those gloves off properly, they'll give you a false sense of like you're safe. But unless you take those gloves off properly, if you've touched something that the virus might be on or whatever, guess what? You can still bring it with you. So the best thing, even with hand sanitizer, it's great. Yep, that's awesome. But guess what we can do? Wash your hands. So make sure you're washing your hands. For how long? Minimum of 20 seconds. Sing happy birthday, sing I Will Survive, whatever it takes. Sing 60-Minute Man. Y'all don't know, that's real old school. I love beach music song. I love beach music. 60-Minute Man. He was a 60-minute man. I'm just saying. Listen, I love all of you all. I want everyone to be safe. Fred, we're praying for you. So when your test results come back, if they come back negative, make sure you keep me posted. Erica said in Cobb City, Dr. Howard is begging parents to hold the school board responsible to speak up. He posted today on Facebook, parents, you have the power. Get on the phone, on the internet. Amen to that. Listen, the only way that we're going to combat this coronavirus, truthfully, is that we come together as the United States of America and that we treat everyone with dignity and respect, and we mask up and we wash our hands. We need leadership. We have been lacking leadership, and that's why we're in the position that we're in. Yes, vote for Joe Biden on November 3rd. This president has failed us, particularly with this pandemic. Over 137,000 people in the United States of America have passed away from the coronavirus. I'm going to tell you that one, one too many. Love all of y'all. Y'all are rolling with Ramsey, and I will see you next week, and we hope we have much better news. Listen, if nothing else, I want y'all to remember that the God that I serve is waking me up every morning, and he'll wake you up too. The sun is still shining, and guess what? Y'all are rolling with Ramsey. I love y'all. Stay safe, mask up, take care of your kids. Peace. We'll see you next week.